Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back for more Doom 2016. In the previous episode, I started using a new codec. Now, most of you aren't going to give a shit about this, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So, when I first started doing Let's Plays, I was using a program called Fraps. A very old program now, sadly. Where has my youth gone? It hasn't been updated since 2013. Holy crap. It was a program that worked really well, though. I mean, you could even record your audio along with the video footage. Oh my god, it is techno-wizardry. Techno-sorcery. I am Vega. Vega. You know,
diagnostics on the Praetor suit, it appears that I can activate optional challenges that, when completed, will assist in upgrading your arsenal at an accelerated pace. I have added a tracking component to your dossier.
No, that dossier, I don't know if it's actually accurate or not. Oh, that's not going to be outdated before too long. But anyway, let's see, where was I? Yeah, we'll go to tab there. Give me a tab. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh, Fraps. Also, Vega. Well, wait, does he have a mask on with a little metallic claw? That's the first thing that came to mind, because I still love Street Fighter 2. But, Fraps worked. It was a very good program, but it exported its video files in a highly uncompressed format. So if like you were to record like 10 minutes, it'd be like 20 gigabytes. So it required like this massive. It required a massive hard drive to record anything to. In fact, one of the very first, and I went in a complete big ass circle because I'm not paying attention. The very first video I ever did, just completely filled up my entire hard drive like within like 20 minutes. It was actually of an arcade game as well. The Aliens arcade game review. That was the first review I ever did. First game review, I should say. And like it just completely filled up the hard drive, like in like a second. Well, not a second, but it didn't take very long to fill up. Then I started using Relive about 2 years ago, and I was like, oh my god, this H.264 thing, it is like the greatest. Now I've started for this review, not for this review, this game, this Let's Play here, H.265. Yes, Hell Portal Demons, we get it. Let's just shoot them. You know, she's actually a fairly interesting character, Olivia. She's very much like your traditional chaos cultist, to where like she thinks she can gain power by sacrificing everyone. But she ends up getting her just desserts, as we shall see. But, like H.265, the first episode of this Let's Play was only 3.5 gigabytes, and it was an 18-minute file. With H.264, it'd be absolutely massive compared to that. It's just amazing how these codecs really work. It's like, it really is techno-wizardry in many instances. Okay, fine, I'll upgrade the goddamn gun. Speedy recovery, bigger boom, instant load. I'll go ahead and do this one. But yeah, it really is quite cool to be able to have, really high quality files, but really, really small file sizes. It is much easier today to make a Let's Play or to do a review than it ever was back in the day. I mean, like, these days for like $30 you can get a really high quality webcam. And that webcam will allow you to record in better footage than when I started, with a real camera. And like, if you want to record a Let's Play, all you got, usually the software is bundled in with the program itself. I mean, that is really quite cool. It used to be you'd have to buy it. Like Fraps, that wasn't free. You could get Fraps with you could get like a trial version of Fraps, but it wasn't good for much. All you could do was record 30-second chunks, which I guess was better than nothing, but, it's like, you certainly wouldn't want to have to do that for much. But ultimately, now with, like, Relive, and I think Shadow Play is another one of those things, it's so much easier, like, just massively easier, and there's a variety of free programs. I still prefer using Adobe. CS 5.5, that is an old program, too, but it's just, meh. Yeah, I haven't seen the need to upgrade because it does what I need it to do. Although I can't edit H.265, which is kind of annoying. But then again, these are Let's Play episodes, so you don't really need to edit them. It's all supposed to be re-live. But it is quite cool, though, just how the software has made things much easier. But that's always the case. You know, it's like Windows. Back in my day, we had DOS, and we were happy to have it. DOS, you know, it's kind of crazy to think that when I got back into Doom after a number of years not playing it, I didn't play it on with Z-Doom or GZ-Doom or Skulltag or anything like that. Oh, the chainsaw. That's a classic joke from that Doom 3 review. Incidentally, for those who don't care or might care, that chainsaw that was in that review has long since been replaced by an 18-inch chainsaw that I got my grandfather for Father's Day. I think it was like Father's Day 2012, or I think it was Father's Day 2013. He was most appreciative to have a brand new chainsaw, and it's just as hard to get started. Chainsaws do not just start up magically, unless you're in the Doom universe. Although realistically, the chainsaw wouldn't even be using fuel in the future. Okay, I get what a chainsaw is, just let me dismiss the future chainsaw. It uses a fucking fusion power core. So like, there's just so many times in the game where I think it'd be kind of cool if we could have Doom guy here make some kind of quip or had some sort of dramatic performance. It could work. I like my dramatic performances. The big problem is, like, the gameplay is more or less perfect. Oh crap! What an idiot! Oh, I didn't die. Sweet. Like, oh crap! What an idiot I am. But I was able to survive my idiocy. But the gameplay is spot on, except for, you know, you do a little too much punching and a little less shooting. But the big problem, when you add more drama, at least these days, you do increase the risk of having it where the gameplay is much less to the forefront. It's where, like, you get to play the game once every 15 minutes after the cutscene ends. Which is aggravating, you know? It's like, I still think the Kabadoobies would be so much better suited if they let you play more of the game instead of, you know, having so many cutscenes or QTEs or scripted segments. You know, if they had more stuff like this, it would be much more memorable. You gotta have a good balance between the two. You know? That's what a lot of those early 2000s games really had going for them. That's why I always bring up why I like them so much, is they were able to balance cool characters and situations with a lot of gameplay. And that I think is something that they just don't do as much as they could. But recently, talking about games that they don't do as much as they could, is, you know, there's just not that many interesting ideas that are being put out there. I mean, obviously the indie market is still getting some interesting ideas. Too bad they're just games I don't really care that much about. I'm aware that Dusk exists, which is sort of a Quake 1/Blood-styled game. But I never was that big a fan of Quake 1. I'm much more of a sci-fi guy than a horror guy, so I'd like another, like, Quake 2-styled game, you know, with a bunch of robots that you have to fight. I enjoyed that a lot. In fact, at some point in 2018, I think we're in 2018 now, the future of 2018, I am going to finally start doing some unofficial expansion packs for Quake 2. I've not actually done much on the Quake 2 expansion packs. Oh crap, I got shot. Well, that escalated quickly. That's actually a pretty hilarious little glitch there where my body's literally just floating. I have not done many, I haven't done anything on the expansion packs for any of the Quake games. I do need to do a Quake 2 expansion pack, some Quake 2 expansion pack reviews, but I'm more interested right now in the unofficial ones, because it's quite interesting how they've just been completely and totally forgotten. Even I forgot about them, and I think that'll be an interesting thing. We'll just have to see. There's two that I have downloaded, and I can't remember the names of either one of them. I think one of them is Zero, or that could be a mod I'm thinking of. Or it could be a level pack for Doom. I can't remember, because there's two things that are called Zero. There is an interesting mod I did find for Doom. It is a Quake 4 enemy and weapons mod, where it turns all the enemies into Quake 4 enemies and all the weapons into Quake 4 weapons. It's actually pretty fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit playing that the other day. And it even brings out the weapon upgrades from Quake 4. There's a lot of Quake 4 influences. Well, I certainly said influences. Weird. Influences! It's one word, goddammit! There's a lot of Quake influence. I did it again. This game has been influenced a great deal by Quake 4. I speak English good. But you can see that with the weapon upgrades, because they did that in Quake 4. You can see that. I really like the fact they have this blaster. I don't know. I'm inordinately pleased by this, because this is such a Quake weapon, and I just don't see that we're ever going to get another single-player Quake game, which annoys me to no end, because Quake is just such a beloved multiplayer game. Although I never have played Quake multiplayer. Actually, no, I take that lie back. I did play Quake 1 multiplayer in 2012. Back in the day, it was all about the single player. But it's like, I'm a big fan of single player over multiplayer, though. Quake 1 multiplayer is actually a great deal of fun. Like, that really has aged tremendously well. I mean, I absolutely love that game, multiplayer. I played that a lot in 2012. I've not played Quake 2 multiplayer, but still, for me, the single player is what did it for me, so. I'd love to see another single player Quake game, but that just is not going to happen, I think. I think we're just going to be stuck with Quake Champions. I've not played it, but you know what? I really don't care. Just because that's not really the kind of game I care that much about. I'm not a big multiplayer fan, as I've mentioned in many Let's Plays. It's just, I've never been good at it, and I just mainly use multiplayer for socialization and things of that nature. I just talk to my various friends and people of that nature. Yes, he went in here. I know he did. Open the fucking elevator. I've never really found competitive multiplayer that fun. It's just something I've never really enjoyed. I guess, like, if you grew up doing it, which I guess I could have, because I was at the age where I could do that, you might find it more fun, but I just never did. Mainly because I just suck at it so much. You know, like, I'm terrible at it, to the point where, like, it's just not fun for me, because I die all the time. Now, for those who saw the first Doom 2016 Let's Play, you'll notice this game's running, like, way, way better. This is actually being played maxed out, only at 1080p. But this can actually run 2K, but I don't want to have to spend all that time uploading the bloody file. And let's be reasonable, most of us aren't going to be watching it in 2K. Not even me. I just watch everything in 720. To be perfectly honest, even though my internet is capable of more. Because I just personally don't care that much. But this RX 480 is a very nice graphics card. A lot of the driver updates have actually been pretty good. You know, that's one of the things. When I first started using the RX 480, it was quite annoying, just because there were a bunch of driver problems. But AMD's been pretty good about fixing it. Oh, we got the multi-shot carbine. You know, we're not going to call it an assault rifle, because that might be politically charged. This is supposed to be a 50 BMG combat rifle. I'm not sure that's entirely accurate to real life there. And I know it's Doom, but still. 50 BMG. Now, 50 Beowulf I can imagine would work, or 460 SOCOM. But seriously, 50 BMG, that's a little overkill, I would think. 50 Beowulf. That is such a hilarious caliber to me. It's like, why would you need a 50 caliber in a fucking AR platform? It's like, who sat around thinking, like, you know what we can do to make the AR even better? Make it a 50 caliber. It's cool. I know it's cool, but it just seems so silly to me. It's like such an overkill kind of thing. Now, 300 Blackout sounds interesting, but I personally just stick with 223556. Ah, Berserk! Berserk! That's an anime I haven't seen. But an anime I have seen that I really enjoyed was Gate. That is actually officially my second favorite anime. It's actually going to beat out Cowboy Bebop-aru, even though I got a Cowboy Bebop poster. Because Gate was just such a fun anime. I really enjoyed it. My first favorite anime to this day is Outlaw Star. It used to be Cowboy Bebop was my second favorite, but after Gate, I don't know, it's now the third. Even though it's the only only anime poster I have. Found that randomly at a comic shop. When I saw it, I just had to buy it. Because it was like, it's fucking Cowboy Bebop. But Gate, I really enjoyed the characters. I just enjoyed the whole plot. You know, it's like, modern day, you know, Japanese self-defense force has to fight off, you know, the fantasy races from some fantasy world, you'll notice that people who have never seen the show get that particular detail wrong. They're like, oh, they go back in time and fight primitive humans. Now, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but elves, trolls, orcs, pigmen, yes, pigmen, literal pig humanoids, did not exist back at any time in history. They didn't. Only humans have existed on the planet. Well, the only sapient species on the planet has been the humies, and yeah. So it's a fantasy world. It's an interesting fantasy world. It's a generic fantasy world, but I don't care. Because I've always had this desire to see fantasy technology go up against modern day technology. Obviously, modern day technology wins. Now, I'm a big fan of the modern day. If you ever actually want to live back in the 15th century, good luck! You will die like within about 6 months, probably. From either bad water, bad food, or some kind of disease. I would never want to live back at any other time period than now. And so, if you were a modern day society and you went to one of these fantasy worlds, people would want to live in your society because they actually, have clean water, clean food, and, they're not under constant threat of violence. And smack his head. Now this is actually a pretty interesting little plot here, though, where Doom Guy's just trying to figure out what's going on. It shows he's not just some kind of meathead. I would still like some more character from Doom Guy, though.
Access to the facility scanner. Come to the Vega terminal, and I'll give you what you need.
Oh, fuck off, Bishop. For some reason, some have said that he sounds like Optimus Prime. Does that really sound like Peter Cullen? And it certainly doesn't sound like Gary Chalk. That sounds much more like, I can't remember his name. I'm definitely ready for the home now. The guy who played Bishop. What the hell is his name? I should know his name. I know Bill Paxton, Michael Biehn, but I can't remember the guy who played Bishop's name. I guess now that I'm getting even older, I'm forgetting basic facts. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Although the action figure for Bishop looks like he should have been played by old Arnold. He's got this big muscle-bound guy. Give me that explosions. I really hate those shield guys, though. They're somewhat difficult to kill. Like I say, somewhat. Not that difficult, but damn, I can't remember his name. And he's one of my favorite actors. Because he does a really good job playing Bishop. He's one of the best android actors of all time. Even better than Arnold. Oh, what was his name? Ugh. I'll have to look it up. Because my brain stopped working for some reason. But back to Gate. I've always liked that kind of plot of modern day goes to another universe that's primitive. And I'm like still in streaming mode for some reason because I keep thinking you guys could see me. So every time I rub the bridge of my nose, like, no, I can't do that because that'll look. But I do not have the webcam on, so I can get away with picking my own nose. Oh my god, it's so disgusting. But anyway, where was I? Shit. Yeah. Oh, that fucking asshole. I was killed for picking my own nose. It reminds me of a particularly hilarious Seinfeld episode. Where, like, he's, like, dating the supermodel and he picks his nose, but she's, like, in the next, like, taxi. And she sees it and it breaks up with him. Seinfeld is still a fucking hilarious show. Seinfeld himself is actually pretty hilarious. But, let's see, where was I? Yeah, Gate, the plot was actually one that I always have enjoyed. Ever since I read... The very first one of those books that I ever read was the Lost Regiment series by William Forchan? William Forchan, let's just say that's his name. It's where a Maine regiment from the Civil War gets sent to this alternate world where the enemy... Do I have any machine gun ammo? Yep, that I do. Do you have an NFA tax stamp, Doom Guy? If you don't... But it's where it goes to this fantasy world where, like, there's these different fantasy cultures. Instead, it's not some sort of medieval European fantasy, though. Instead, it's a medieval Russian fantasy world kind of thing. And, like, the main villain of that particular series are space Mongols. 12-foot tall alien space Mongols. It's actually a really cool series. I've enjoyed it immensely. It does get a little dull at times because he's one of those writers like David Weber that does not ever just wrap up his details. It's like, god damn, he will explain every goddamn thing to you. And it's like, you know, I'm glad you gave me some... And it's always the wrong detail, too. Instead of, like, showing things from, like, a more pulled out perspective, like from the president's perspective or something like that, it'll be like, and this guy had this kind of coat on, and it was warm. It's like, David Weber's bad about that, too. I'm reading a David Weber book right now, actually, called Out of the Dark. I've wanted to read it for a while, because I'd heard about it. It's where aliens invade, but they have really bad military technology. And it always sounded good. And now that I'm reading it, it's like, wow, this is not very good. The problem is, he doesn't give us a good, pulled-out view of the events going on in the world, which is really annoying. But he'll give us, like, all kinds of details. And then this character built a dam, and it had 250-kilowatt turbines. Like, I don't care! This is one of those moments in the game where people were talking about. It's like, a gift.
Take it.
A snow globe for me!
Help you on your journey, if you can withstand the power surge.
You know, okay, you know what would be kind of... You know, that would actually have worked. If Samuel Hayden could have been the co-op character, you could have had a few different abilities and things with that shit. That might actually have been pretty fun. It's just, there's not enough Samuel Hayden in many instances. Do we want health, armor? We want more health. There's not enough moments with him. It'd be nice if he actually was able to do something. And for some reason, this is really quiet. I'm not sure why. So, thankfully, you can still read it, though. It's really kind of annoying. He's so quiet. He was loud just a second ago. You know, Sam, you might want to turn your volume up. Just turn it up a little bit. Now, I like this little, there's a little bit of detail here. I mean, most people aren't going to care that 61,337 people have died. But I like the little details like that. I've always been a big fan of that. In moderation. Once again, I do not need to know, you know, every single, you know, power plant. I don't need to know that the nuclear, the hell juice reactor runs at, you know, 80 kilowatts per minute or something. I think kilowatts would be too low. 80 megawatts per minute. There we go. That's pretty high, actually. Or like maybe 50 terawatts. That's even higher. But still, you know, it's like I don't need that. But this is a nice little plot moment. I still would have liked it if there was just more of Samuel Hayden in it, or if he could have been the co-op partner. Because he actually has a really good personality. And, you know, you'd have to shrink him down, though, because when we get to him, he's pretty tall. He's like, I think like 8 foot tall, or like maybe 12 foot. He's pretty big. They shrink him down to Doom Guy size, and it would be a lot of fun, because co-op is very enjoyable in these first-person shooters. You know, like, hell, Quake 1 had co-op in it. You know, Quake fucking 1, and it was a lot of fun co-op. Doom, also co-op, although I think it was co-op only via LAN. You know, it's like, you need co-op because it's just a lot of fun, in my opinion. Now, from a storytelling perspective, it can still work, although some games don't even bother trying to explain it story-wise, like Halo doesn't. It's like, where did these 3 other Spartans show up from? Although in Halo 3 it was the Arbiter and 2 rando elites. But still, though, you know, I've always been a big fan of co-op. And ultimately, I am Mighty GeneralLotz, and I'm going to wish you good. Quake 1 and Quake 2, or whatever, makes you happy.